A 23-year-old woman was shot late last night in a drive-by shooting, and Monday's manhunt suspect is now on the most wanted list. Plus, where's the best spot to rock and roll in San Angelo? You're about to find out. I'm James Bellini, and this is Live. This show is brought to you by Myers Drug. Hey Dude shoes are very popular in San Angelo right now. Hey Dude's offers is comfort and style all in one shoe. Myers Drug has a large selection of Hey Dude shoes, including the most recent arrivals. Located at the corner of Chadburn and Beauregard in historic downtown San Angelo, you can shop there Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, and on Saturdays, 10 to 2. Myers Drug is more than just a pharmacy. It's San Angelo's finest gift shop. See more at myersdrug.com. This summer has been a summer for drive-by shootings. Last night, San Angelo had another one. In information just released by the SAPD, on July 19th, around 11:08, officers were dispatched to a resident in the 2200 block of Chestnut in reference to a shooting victim. Officers arrived on scene and located a 23-year-old female who was suffering from an apparent gunshot wound to the lower portion of one of her legs. The female was then transported to Shannon Medical Center by the fire department, where she received treatment for her injury. Detectives in SAPD Criminal Investigation Division were contacted to assist, and it was learned that this incident had stemmed from a verbal altercation that took place at a convenience store off Sherwood Way. It was learned that both parties left that location in different vehicles and ultimately came back across each other for a second time on Glenna. Detectives were able to find out that words were again exchanged between the parties, and the passengers of one of the vehicles, later identified as 17-year-old Jeremiah Martinez, produced a handgun and began shooting the victim's vehicle. The 23-year-old victim was then struck by a bullet on one of her legs and drove to the residence on Chestnut to call for assistance. Officers were able to locate Martinez at the 1300 block of Guthrie, where he was taken into custody. Martinez has been charged with aggravated assault with deadly weapon and was booked into Tom Green County Jail. On the justice side of things, a San Angelo man has been sentenced for counterfeiting $100 bills while high on meth in a vacant hotel room. Last year, Robert Swain was stopped by San Angelo police for a parole warrant, only for police to discover about 6 grams of meth inside of the vehicle he was driving. Several bags of meth, along with digital scales, were located as well. Then in April of this year, SAPD responded to La Quinta Hotel for a report of individuals inside a room that was supposed to be vacant. Officers located a printer with counterfeit money on the dispense tray, along with other counterfeiting materials. A witness said he had dealings with Swain in the past and knew him by sight. A patrol officer located Swain and detained him. He admitted staying in the room, but he would not name the other men who were with him and claimed to have no knowledge of the fake money. After officers searched Swain's person, they located a $100 bill that had a matching serial number to the fake money that was in the printer's dispensing tray. For more on this story, go to sanangelive.com. The Tom Green County Sheriff's Office has listed the suspect in Monday's standoff on its most wanted list. The man on your screen here is Juan Jose Morales. Morales is wanted for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a controlled substance, and a number of other warrants. Morales is considered armed and dangerous. The Sheriff's Office has been searching for Morales since Monday after he fled from police. Although they have not found Morales in the residence, they did, however, find 2 ounces of meth and a stolen pistol. If you see him, do not hesitate to call 911. And finally, news broke. Texas Democrat and gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke received a $1 million donation from, you'll never guess, socialist billionaire George Soros. If you came to San Angelo and attended Beto's rally, I'm sorry to tell you, he lied to you. Let's listen.
All right,
Gracias.
I have time for 2 more questions back here.
I have one question for you, sir. How much money is George Soros funneling into your campaign?
None that I know of. We have more than 200,000 unique contributors, and it's all public information. So we publish that. You're welcome to look at it. But as far as I know, I have not received any money from George Soros. Thanks for asking. Yeah, appreciate it.
Same area.
Look, maybe he didn't know. He probably did, but say he didn't. Fine, cool. But what the real problem is, why would a billionaire with no ties to Texas be flooding the Beto campaign with this $1 million donation? Could it be to influence the election to try to promote socialist views? Regardless of chips have been played, and now the totals for both sides are Abbott, $37 million, and Beto, $40.9 million. In other news, wildfires have kicked up across Texas, but the two big ones are the 1148 fire at Possum Kingdom and the Chalk Mountain fire in Somerville County. Texas A&M Forest Service has both fires as only 10% contained, with the Chalk Mountain fire burning through an estimated 6,000 acres and the 1148 fire eating up about 500 acres at Possum Kingdom. The mandatory evacuation was lifted on Tuesday afternoon for the 1148 fire, but officials still recommend that be the case for safety's sake. A Texas A&M spokesman confirmed Tuesday that 5 homes and 5 outbuildings had been destroyed. And the Chalk Mountain fire is another beast and has officials believing that 12 buildings, including barns and homes, have been damaged or destroyed, and that number could rise. It's currently unknown what caused the fires, but it has been extremely hot throughout the state, with temperatures reaching 110 degrees, which leads us into weather. Here in San Angelo, afternoon temperatures have been in the record high range, but don't worry, it's looking like cooler temperatures are coming. For today, of course, it's still nearing that 110 degree mark with a high of 108, but as the week progresses, it will get cooler. Looking forward to the weekend, temperatures will barely break 100 with a high of 101 on Friday, 99 on Saturday, and 101 on Sunday. After the break, Little Dawg, owner of San Angelo's downtown rock bar, The Dead Horse, joins the show to talk about what they've got coming up this weekend. But before that, check out this ad from Condo's Diamonds and Coins.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Kano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Kano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Well, we're back. My name is Joe Hyde, and sitting to my right is Little Dawg,
How you doing, Joe?
proprietor of the Dead Horse, live music venue.
Yes, sir.
That's what it is. So the Dead Horse, if you're not familiar with San Angelo, if you're watching this from like Longview, Texas or something, is the it's kind of like the counterbalance to the downtown scene. It brings in rockabilly, alternative type music.
Alternative. We have metal. We have some hardcore. We have what some people like to call stoner rock.
Stoner rock.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What is that? Is that like the Devil's Lettuce?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. They kind of get into that groove. It's a lot of instrumental, but it's good music. Really great musicians that play. We have everything from psychedelic bands. We've had funk bands. Recently, you had one of our artists on here, Dakota Portman. I mean, he's pretty much a red dirt artist.
The hippie.
Yeah.
What was that guy's name?
Dakota Portman.
Dakota Portman. He was a good interview.
Yeah.
If y'all didn't see that interview, go back about 2 weeks ago. If you get on YouTube or something like that, or just search for Dakota on our website, you'll probably find him.
It was a good one.
Yeah. He was. I mean, he'd been through heck and back trying to be a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a story you always hear. Yeah. About the musicians that come through. Now, San Angelo is a music-friendly city. We're like one of the first ever Texas-designated music-friendly cities, and it's because of a lot of the work that you've done on Chadbourne Street, bringing back downtown and providing a cool place for people to go. Tell me, what do you look for when you're booking bands? What kind of talent do you? How can you tell they're talented enough to play at the Dead Horse?
Usually, I kind of just base it off. I do a lot of the booking on through email. Mm-hmm. What I do is I usually like to have the band send me something I can listen and something that I can see.
Right.
Because anybody can get anything produced and sound great.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like to catch a lot of the live shows that people do. Unfortunately, some bands don't have the opportunity to get that recorded for them. So I just kind of base it off some of their social, and sometimes it's just a leap of faith. Sometimes it's, I kind of like the music. I think they'll work at the bar. I think people will like it. And, once we come to terms on compensation and a specific date, then we kind of just go from there.
Mm-hmm. One of the things about the musician or the music scene, even in Texas, I mean, Texas is a very eclectic music scene. I mean, you have your Texas country all the way up to what you're doing there. You're kind of like the Austin alt. The weird Austin part, right?
Yeah,
I just imagine Red River Street's full of a bunch of dead horses.
That's exactly when we were playing in Austin a lot, there were a lot of bands that we played with, and a lot of times we went to Austin, people kept asking us, "Will you open up one here?" And, and I think what made us special is this having that feel being here in San Angelo. I think if we moved to Austin, we would be
just like everyone else.
We're just like everybody else. So
Plus, you'd have to worry about the sound ordinance.
yeah, I don't like that at all.
So we don't really have a sound ordinance downtown, do we?
No, sir.
So you can go in there to the Dead Horse, and the cool thing about the Dead Horse, the way it's laid out, is you know several years ago you added on to it used to be just that where the stage is, and you've added on the lounge, I guess, to the left of the stage, so you can be in there and have a conversation in the lounge while someone's screaming their head off at the stage.
Yeah, and you can go back and forth between
Right.
the two. Actually, the lounge side, or what everybody calls like the main side, where the big bar area is, the end of August this year will be 13 years that side has been open.
Oh, wow.
And November 30th will make 15 years that Dead Horse has been open in full.
I remember when the Dead Horse opened, and we did a story. It was Rex Rogers, you know, and Lanny, and they set the thing up, and I remember telling you he totally didn't trust me because I was a Republican. But we got over that. We become really good friends. I think we just had, like you do, we all share a love for the arts.
Absolutely.
And that's really what that is.
Yes,
It's
sir.
the arts that's happening downtown, making things happen. All right. So what do you think that COVID did to the live music scene?
It put a big hit in it. As far as everything from people who use that as a source of income that aren't even playing anymore.
Really?
Yes, sir.
People that aren't playing anymore?
I know a lot of people that aren't playing anymore. I know venues that aren't open anymore. There was, places in Austin that were, quote unquote legendary
Yeah,
or
the
really
storied
popular,
places.
that aren't open anymore.
That's because real estate costs so much, and so what they did is they just cashed out.
It was, you kind of had to, there was no help for bars during COVID. They said there was, but it was if your bar was like in a restaurant or in a hotel, then you got the help. But as far as if you were just a bar, there was no help.
So you didn't have remember that if you didn't have food, you couldn't serve food, you couldn't open.
Yeah.
And, all that, and that's when you started the Dawg Father.
The Dawg Father, yes, sir.
Is that still going?
Yes, sir. Dawg Father still is going strong. Yes, sir.
So where's the trailer located? Where can someone find the Dawg Father? It's hot dogs that are created by this guy, artistic hot dogs.
We're either located behind the Dead Horse. We've been parked in front of Soko Tap House for quite some time now, and then now that we're able to be a little more mobile, we kind of we'll pick and choose random pop-up spots to go to.
And do you open it up like Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
It's usually Wednesday through Sunday.
Is it hot as heck running that dang trailer?
Yes, sir, it is. And I've gotten a brand new AC put on the trailer, and then had to even still get a portable AC unit for inside.
Wow.
Because it is hot.
All right, what about the activity downtown? I've noticed since the lockdowns have ended and all that kind of thing. I mean, I know we've been about a year into it. I'll give you an example. I mean, I do a lot of work for Blaine's, and I mean, Cody's like, I don't need to book a band to bring in a lot of people, and so he hasn't been booking as many bands as he did prior to the pandemic.
Luckily for Blaine's has always kind of been like that. That's something that they've had a reputation for, and I love Cody to death. That's actually been a really good friend of mine way before he even had Blaine's, and it's always it's one thing I guess I've always envied Blaine's Pub for,
because it's just there, and people are going to go there no matter what.
People are going to go no matter what, and then for us, and even if they do have a band there, and there's a $10-15 cover, they don't care. They're going to pay for it.
Yeah,
they're going to go in.
Cody says they won't.
At Dead Horse, I have to try to kind of going back to booking, try to make sure that it's something that somewhat everybody can enjoy for the music, in order for people to go in there, even in there and watch. And if I do any type of cover, then I more than likely don't get the patrons to come in.
I think the cover charge is probably a problem throughout San Angelo. I mean, because there's so much. I mean, before the pandemic, there was so much live music. I mean,
Right.
They had live music at hotels. They had it, in the middle of parking lots and all kinds of crazy stuff. So you had to really figure out how to differentiate why it's important to come see this show today and pay $10 at the door.
And one thing I've always prided ourselves on is, we actually don't use a whole lot of local that we most places do here. Majority of our artists do come from the bigger cities here in Texas, but all over the United States. The two bands last night that we had, one was from Chicago, another one was from New York.
Well, the rock circuits have to be larger than the Texas country circuit. I mean, the Texas country circuit. I remember I interviewed Wade Bowen many years ago, and I asked him, "How do you make money? You know, I mean, what's the game? He said there's so many bars in Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana that I can run this circuit day and night and make $200,000 a year. You know, this is back before he got big. You know, and so, but the rock stuff, you gotta be going to L.A., Chicago. You gotta be doing you gotta almost start going national.
Everywhere, yeah. And you know, and it's actually amazing for the people who can still or continue to do it, and the ones that have done it before. The amount of work that they put in like a 2 to 3 week tour, and how many cities they're just going back to back to back to back,
right?
And just playing, you know, literally coast to coast almost.
Where does San Angelo sit on the routing? Is it pretty good for going from like Austin to San Francisco, or Austin to L.A., or Austin to Phoenix, or?
Yes, and then vice versa. Anybody coming from the West Coast that way, we've found that, you know, a lot of places will play New Mexico and then try to hit Dallas or Austin or San Antonio. And then now that we've kind of made a name for ourselves, they're like, "Dude, can we please play there?" So we can we actually have a place to spot to play.
So you're kind of important. So you're kind of important for people to come to kind of make cred. That's basically what you've done.
Yes, sir. And what's cool about that is, you know, the amount of love that we've gotten back from the people that play at the bar. And the promotion that we've gotten from them.
All right, so tell me what's happening this weekend at the Dead Horse. Who do you have on Friday night? And let's talk about those bands.
Friday, I have they call themselves a stout Irish band called the Blaggards.
Okay.
Anybody likes Irish music, like Dropkick Murphys type music, stuff like that, they put on an amazing show. After them is a band called Test Human. Test Human has 2 original members of the band called Suicidal Tendencies. Okay. And their lead singer, you might like this one. His name is Sean Scott Hicks.
Okay.
His dad and Whitey Bulger started the Winter Hill Gang.
Okay.
And he just got released from prison a few years ago, and now they're working on him to do a script for either like a miniseries or
Netflix.
A movie. Yeah.
Netflix or something on that.
And so I got them playing Friday. I got Saturday. I have a local band. I have Drawing a Blank.
Okay, Drawing a Blank, very, very well-known band in
yes,
town.
sir, very well-known. And then Sunday's pretty special. We're calling it, we call it Loki Fest. A friend of mine, named Loki, nickname Loki, a few years back, unfortunately, took his life. And so we started doing a benefit to help with suicide prevention and or donate proceeds to either I usually do anything with veterans or autism, and this year we're donating to another friend of mine that got into a really bad motorcycle wreck here recently.
And so what is Low Key Fest? What is it, just a bunch of acoustic music or?
No, actually we have we're starting the show off with 2 acoustic artists, and then Loki's little sister's band. Can't remember the name right now, and I apologize. But she's playing, and then for the first time since September of 2019, Shotgun Rebels will be playing.
And Shotgun Rebels, you're the drummer.
Yes, sir, I am.
So Little Dawg is going to be drumming at the Low Key Fest on Sunday at the Dead
Yes,
Horse.
Sir, this Sunday, and then we have
So let's back up a second. So Shotgun Rebels is the house band for the Dead Horse.
Yes, sir. That's actually how we started.
Right.
We needed Rex. Was kind of when
Rex
he was just booking.
This is Rex Rogers, who's the founder of the Dead Horse.
Yes, sir.
Right?
And founder of the band as well. Yeah. He was tired of bands either canceling or having short sets, so he said, "Let's put something together so we can actually open up for these bands and kind of make something happen." So of course I was like, "Absolutely." And then it kind of started off as that, and then some bigger name artists per se. And kind of said, "Man, you guys really have something. You should try writing y'all's own music," because we were just doing covers at the time. And so that's what we've done ever since.
So you're writing your own music.
Yes, sir.
You've had your own music for a decade.
Yes, sir.
Right. So this band's you guys aren't newbies. You guys are pretty veteran.
Yes, sir.
On doing stuff. So, what is the hardest cover to perform?
Oh man.
Do.
I think it was Rebel Yell.
Really?
Yeah, because there was one part for me. There was one part that I thought
And this is for the drums.
Yes, sir. There's one part that I thought that was kind of digitally put in, and he was like, "No, it's the drummer." And so I kind of had to. It would trip me out. I had to learn that part off by ear, which I've learned is really weird. I'm the 5th generation of my family to play drums, but I'm self-taught. I picked it up way late.
Right.
I wasn't until I was 21 that I picked it up playing, but that one was a hard one.
So
for
you had
me.
to go. You had to listen to the. I bet back those you had your Sony Walkman. You had to keep rewinding the cassette tape and go back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I had that on my little iPod.
Oh yeah, the iPods. Remember the iPods?
Yeah, the little tiny ones. Yeah.
That was. That's funny. That's funny. All right, so let's look for it. So it sounds like Friday night. If you want something, you want to go in there for a really special show. Friday night's it. If you just want to go in there and hang out, go in there Saturday. If you want to go see, I guess, a variety of music plus the house band, go there on Sunday afternoon or
Yes, sir.
do all three.
Yeah.
At the Dead Horse. What's the address?
210 South Chadbourne.
210 South Chadbourne, and you can't miss it. It's right down there on Chadbourne, just north of Concho, East Concho. But anyway, when we get back, we're going to do a little bit of our Ask San Angelo Live. I saw that online. We had a whole bunch of questions. And Little Dog, you are welcome to stay with us.
Okay.
Will you stay with us?
Most certainly.
All right. Well, let's come on back to that, and we're going to go ahead and bring in James and Matt Trammell, James Bellini and Matt Trammell. And someone has to read me the questions because I'm blind up here. I can't see it. Too many lights in my eyes. Oh, you want to go to the break first? Okay, we're going to go to a break, and when we be right back, we'll have James Bellini, Matt Trammell, with Little Dog and Joe Hyde, and we'll be doing Ask San Angelo Live. And you guys can ask us
When
real
it comes
questions.
to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Cano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Cano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo. Ready?
Yeah. Well, welcome back. I'm still here with Little Dog. Little Dog didn't turn into a mushroom or anything while we're gone.
Absolutely.
And we're joined with Trammell and James Bellini. Although we have technical difficulties, we're down to just 2 cameras, so we're not going to be able to bring in that 3rd camera, so we might just be hearing Trammell shouting stuff. What's that?
You'll just be seeing Bellini.
Yeah, just Bellini. But don't get Bellini mixed up with Matt Trammell. So let's start Ask San Angelo Live. So the big news that was breaking right before we went on the air was Desiree's. Something always happens at Desiree's, right? And so Bellini was up there at Desiree's. Tell them what you saw.
Well, they're having a car wash to help try to help their building out. They're trying to get new air conditioners and everything in, and they got shut down. The city shut them down. I guess you can't have water running 150 feet from your building. I assume that's a code violation.
Are you serious? It's because of the watering conservation.
The water
guidelines?
conservation.
Oh, you got to be kidding me! So they got them on water conservation because they were having a car wash.
Right. That's what I had heard, and I had heard that a officer had come by to ask, I guess, what was going on and kind of figure out. And I don't know if he shut it down. I even asked Espinoza about it. He said he didn't have any calls to that location or anything. So from what I understand, the city shut him down.
I think it's really cruel. What do you think, Little Dog?
I do too. I kind of feel him on that. That's why I can't park my food truck in front of the bar anymore.
Why can't you?
They said I'm not giving other businesses a place to park.
But those parking spots are in front of your place.
It's exactly what I said. I said, so you mean to tell me I can't park my business in front of my business because it's not giving other businesses a place to park? And they pretty much told me, yeah.
And I kind of feel. I mean, they're just trying to make their place nicer, and trying to help out. And
You're talking about
fix their
Desiree's?
Yeah, they're just trying to fix their place up.
So basically, they're saying that Desiree's, the girls there were saying they don't have the air conditioner's not cool enough, so they need to get some.
Yeah,
more
I guess.
on.
I mean, the building's just been there a while. They're trying to paint it, get new signage. Everybody who drives by it kind of sees the signs are kind of beat up, and I mean.
All right, mic check. Nope. Okay.
Oh. Well.
We're trying to get Trammell's mic to work. But anyway, while we're
I got some questions for you.
yeah, go ahead and get some questions. Is your mic working?
No, I can get the questions.
All right. If y'all hear this voice in the background, it's Matt Trammell without a mic.
All right, the very first question is, why does the city favor the south side over the north side?
Joe, you take this one.
Well, first of all, I'm an outsider. I didn't grow up in San Angelo. I didn't go to Glenmore Elementary or Glen Middle School. I didn't go to Lee Middle School, didn't go to Central, didn't go to Lakeview. So I have kind of this bigger vision of it. Where did you go to school?
I grew up in North Dallas, so
You're an outsider too.
yeah. So I mean, I've
Where
my
in North Dallas? Frisco or Plano?
Carrollton.
Carrollton. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. How about you, Bellini? You went to Cristobal.
I went to Cristobal. I wasn't born in San Angelo. I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We moved down here.
So we're all outsiders.
We're all outsiders.
So what we can do is we can school these San Angelo Hicks about their divisions. They need to stop this dividing thing. Right?
Unity.
I don't know. The problem I see, I mean, I grew up in Katy, and we had, at the time when I was growing up, it was rapidly growing, probably like Carrollton was, right? And we were building high schools left and right and stuff like that. And they built the first high schools, James E. Taylor High School, and half my class our class got split in half, and half of my friends went to Taylor, and half of us had to stay back in Katy. And there was that rivalry between Taylor and Katy High School. Probably still exists to this day, although they have like 17 more high schools.
Right.
But in San Angelo, it's a little bit deeper in that you have Lakeview that has a legacy of being a country school, kind of like Cristobal or Wall.
Right.
And they kind of got incorporated and sucked into the SAISD 50 years ago. And people still have Lakeview pride and things. I mean, Yantis Green, our own Yantis Green, went to Lakeview. And we have to hear about how we have to, we can't call this San Angelo Stadium
That's how it is. It's because of the stadium.
You think it's the stadium?
It's the stadium. They made a move into. I know this isn't James talking, but they made a move into San Angelo Stadium. They made a move away from their home field. It's like, you guys aren't worth it over there. Next thing you know, we're taking money from the other side. I mean,
and all their players.
And all of a sudden, TLC's playing out there at Lakeview.
Not anymore. They're going to build their own stadium.
Oh, now they are.
Going to
nobody
RIP.
wants to go to Lakeview
Nobody
Stadium.
wants it.
You know where Lakeview Stadium is? This is the rodeo grounds, kind of, sort of, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's out there
I know
in the parking
exactly.
lot.
It's right next to it, right?
Right,
okay.
I mean, we did a story about the Lakeview Stadium about 2 or 3 years ago, a big video story. You can search on San Angelo Live for Lakeview Stadium. And Lakeview is 2 words, by the way. Don't be calling it Lakeview with 1 word, because that's wrong. But you search Lakeview Stadium on San Angelo Live, you'll find this video story about it. People love Lakeview story. I mean, there's a lot of nostalgia about it. I mean, and you have generations who played football there and stuff, So,
All right, here you go. You ready? Here's
Anyway.
another one.
All right.
When does a homeowner in the city limits have the right to have a neighbor's dog picked up because the neighbor won't contain them properly in their yard? They started with 2 dogs. Now they have 7 small dogs that roam the streets and enter other homeowners' property.
I would say immediately.
You're the little dog. Yeah, you tell us.
I would.
you're little dog.
I would say immediately. And as much roaming as I've done, people call somebody on me all the time. So I'm saying absolutely immediately. If you can't control your little dogs, then
That's right.
Then somebody else needs to.
If you can't control the little dog, it needs to go to the pound.
And a more apocalyptic thought on this is, if the end of the world comes and, we have nuclear war, how many pets are just going to be out there roaming around?
A lot.
Because everyone has. I mean, right now our society kind of keeps a lid on these pets.
I don't think Sarah McLachlan has enough songs for the amount of pets that'll be homeless.
Yeah.
All right, so next question.
All right, so she also made a comment right after that and said, "I fear the day they get ran over and cause an accident in the process." Poor dogs.
Well, that'd be good for the news business.
All right, next one. I don't know if this has any realness to it, but it says, "Why does the mayor's house taxes go down every year? Meanwhile, everyone else's goes up."
Well, I don't know how she knows. I mean, someone needs to look it up on the Tom Green County Appraisal District and tell me if that's true. Because I don't even know where she lives, and I certainly wouldn't.
Because if hers goes down, maybe I should run for mayor.
Heck yeah! And you live in the city limits.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I tell you, running these citywide campaigns is kind of tough, though.
I bet.
I know that from first-hand experience.
I was rooting for you.
Were you?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
All right, here we go. This is the last question that we got here. It says, "Why do people say that you guys are the National Enquirer of San Angelo?"
Man, what an intellectual question. Wasn't it? Can I take this real quick?
Oh, go ahead.
Have you ever heard of Malcolm Gladwell? He's like one of these thought guys who makes these podcasts, and he writes these really long books about the human mind. Things like It's kind of interesting. Malcolm, I was running near my house and out in the county because I can't run in the city because of dogs. There's too many dogs that chase me.
Little dogs, right?
Oh, there's too many little dogs.
And I was listening to this podcast on. Back then, I didn't have the AirPods. It was the strings. I was holding this big old fat iPhone as I was running along. I was listening to Malcolm Gladwell make a speech, and he said something very unique. Very, very. I mean, it basically just everything came to light when he said this. He said that 25 years ago, and this is like in 2011, so 25 years ago, in order to get your ideas put forward, you had to go find a book publisher, and you had to find someone who typeset your book. You had to find someone to pay for the paper to print it, but most importantly, you had to find shelf space at Barnes & Noble or Borders Books, because the shelf space was what, that was the prime real estate. So that was a big, huge entry barrier to getting your ideas out in the public. It's similar to the music business, right? Think about trying to publish an album back in 1995. You'd have to find a music publisher who knew how to press CDs and all that kind of stuff. So, but today, if you have an idea, just go write a comment like, why are you the National Enquirer of San Angelo on Facebook, and all of a sudden your idea is propagated everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Same with music.
Oh yeah.
If you could come up with a song, Little Dog, at 1:00, and by 4:00 you've already recorded the thing, right? And then you're going to release it, and all of a sudden you can have a CD release party the next day. It's not like it was in 1995.
Not at all.
So because there's so many ideas getting thrown out there now, because there's no barrier to entry. The only thing that's, it's no longer shelf space at Barnes & Noble or paper that's the scarcity, it's mind share. And so in order to sell your song or to sell your writing or sell your ideas, you have to get their attention first, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the way, I started looking at online media, online news, that it doesn't matter what it is, you've got to get people's attention. You have to shock the system in order to get read. And if you don't, why the heck write it? If you can't get people to read it, why write it?
Yep.
That's been my whole mantra. And that's what, do I teach that to you guys? James?
Yeah. No, you do, yeah.
So James is like, well, I
don't
know. I'm not,
Yeah.
Shock value.
People read us. They don't,
I
go around constantly. That's what I heard over at Desiree's was, they didn't want to interview because every time it's on, there's a crash there, or there's a fight there or something, and we don't go there for that, or the fight that was posted a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. They had a big fight there that we took off someone's Facebook, and it just gave Desiree's a bad press.
Well, they gave him a bad feeling, but it's truth.
I know it is, but it's not our intention to go out and do that stuff, though.
I know,
it's not
but
our intention to do that.
if you're going to report the news, report the news.
Exactly.
Is what I say.
Exactly, and you have to.
And if you're going to report the news, you want people to read the news. If you don't want people to read the news, you got to understand that Malcolm Gladwell once said that the scarcity is mind share. So you have to get out there and get your stuff. The other thing I'll say is, I came from the Dallas Morning News, and the Dallas Morning News has a lot more racier headlines than we ever do. And they get awards for it. We get criticized by all these people in San Angelo. Dallas Morning News is, bringing down Pulitzer Prizes for their headlines. So next time you want to complain about our headlines, just go look at the Dallas Morning News and maybe send them a note. Take out your frustration on them. They can take it. We get beat down all the time. So anyway, next.
Little Dog, there's no more questions, but do you have a question for San Angelo Live?
Oh man. I can't think of one this time.
You
Damn.
love San Angelo Live, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, it's fun.
What's your favorite thing you've ever seen on there? Like maybe the funniest.
All the stories about the dead horse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Usually. What do you think? What's the best one?
A story about the dead horse.
Sure. Was it?
No.
Is that your answer?
Yeah. Any story on the dead horse. I love to see it. Anytime I'm on there, I love to see it.
Hey, yeah. Don't forget the time Little Dog was on cover 1.
Yeah, Little Dog came on cover. Remember that?
I did. I loved it.
That was our number one cover one that year.
That was.
And I didn't get invited back.
That's because you broke
Football
the
season
system.
ended.
Yeah.
Season
Okay.
ended.
All right.
You broke the system.
No. That was a pregame. That was preseason.
Was it
It
pretty-
was?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I remember.
man. Don't worry,
I remember.
you're on my list this year. I got you.
All right. Hey, where do we go to find that episode?
Search
YouTube?
Search John Karcher.
Okay.
Yeah, I bet you'll find if you search for John Karcher or Little Dog.
All right.
Yeah.
Or Lil Dog. LILDOG.
G. 2 G's.
Oh, 2 G's.
2 G's.
All right,
Yeah.
just search for Dog with 2 G's on Sangelo app. I
Yeah.
bet you'll find it.
You're either gonna find me or Snoop. So
Yeah.
All right.
you're gonna be happy with either result.
Snoop's been to Sangelo too.
Yeah. I've actually got to meet him when he was here.
Yeah, there's probably a couple stories about Snoop
Yeah.
Doggy Dog too.
It was hitting the devil's lettuce on stage.
Yes, he did.
Someone, I can't believe no one asked a question about the devil's lettuce. Not one person. I think we finally educated people that is the official term from a DEA document.
What are your views on devil's lettuce,
My personal
Joe?
views?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm going to be diametrically opposed to the musician, but I understand all this, wanting to make it free and legal and all that crap. But from a policy perspective, okay, government needs to look at what benefits the government. All right, now I'm not talking about as a human being or as a free citizen, but we have a problem with when you have 25% of that jail out there is full of people with some level of mental illness. Okay, now it's very passé to say that marijuana causes mental illness, but it does. I mean, at a certain level, the overuse of marijuana, particularly today where we have this Colorado brands that have, they're raised under fluorescent lights or whatever, they're really potent. It's not like the marijuana back in the 80s when I was a kid.
How was that?
It was great.
All right.
But you had to smoke like 15 reefers to get it. You're like, I'm on my 15th reefer and I don't feel anything. I think I'm going to go back to beer.
Right. But the same thing could be said about beer.
Yeah.
Same thing could be said about prescription drugs.
You know what? Prescription drugs are the other problem.
Main problem.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have probably half our population is medicated in some way.
Absolutely. All you have to do is go, I don't feel good today.
Yeah.
I'm so sad. I
Give you
have to
some
get
Xanax.
up. I'm so sad I have to get up and go to work.
Yes. Yeah. And
Here's something. Pop this. Yeah. That's going to help you get a job.
Yeah. And or my kids are unruly in school, so just put them on Adderall. A lot of people today, young adults, are on Adderall.
I've been on Adderall since first grade.
Have you?
Yeah.
In the Air Force, when I grew up, Top Gun and write stuff. I want to be a pilot in the Air Force, right? And they came to our junior high, I think, and said, if you get on drugs, if you do marijuana, if you get on
Tom Cruise came to your middle school?
Yeah, Tom Cruise walked in there.
Dadgum.
And he said all that stuff. He said, if you get on that stuff, you can't fly jets.
Just like Goose.
And so I can't fly. I couldn't fly jets if I did any of that stuff. So I was, over here in the corner.
You can either get high or fly high.
Yeah.
You pick.
So it kept me straight, so
Hey,
to speak.
you ever think that would be a great commercial? Why do you think they got rid of those commercials?
Which ones? Fly high?
Like the drug free commercials.
The one where Sally's deflated on the couch.
Yeah.
What about the one with the skillet with the eggs?
I love that one. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
Yes.
Brain on drugs.
Yeah.
Or when the dad comes in all pissed off and he's like, "What are you doing? Where'd you learn that?" He's like, "I learned it from you, Dad."
But anyway, you asked me what my thoughts were on marijuana legalization, basically, and that's where I'm sitting. I don't want us to have to pay a whole lot of extra money. I mean, we don't pay enough money to handle mental health right now, and we don't have enough institutions left in our country to grow kids up so they can get beyond just medicating themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, on the other side, I see the point of, why are we arresting all these people for, 2 ounces of pot? I can go that way too. But I think that if we legalize it, it's more like the government endorses it now. And I think the use would actually go up. I don't know. What does Colorado do? I don't know.
I feel like maybe marijuana use would go up, but other substances would go down.
You think so? Mm-hmm. It's because it's basically people wanting to they want to get high, and it's basically supply and demand. And if the pot dealer's gone, then you got to buy from the meth guy.
Yeah, if it's easier to buy pot, you're not going to go buy meth.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
And you're not going to get in trouble for it.
What, for meth?
For buying for buying lettuce.
For buying some
devil's
lettuce. Or the jazz cabbage.
I heard that one. I heard that on the Dakota interview.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm trying to have this wholesome family hour on Sangelo Live, and there's Dakota over there. Well, I went into the devil's lettuce and I wrote this song. That's how I wrote it. And I'm like, oh, don't do that to me.
But you want to hear the experience.
That's how it happens.
That's part of the experience
These
too.
things don't just.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's just like you were saying earlier. You want that shock value.
Yeah.
You want that story that sells more than what.
Yeah, you got to shock
So
the
that's-
brain.
yeah.
You got to make you got to be a little charismatic about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have to.
So, James, you've been boring all day.
Sorry.
I mean,
Y'all
you
made
know-
me go
you
run
know
out
what-
and do
You know what
stuff.
James' problem is? He was over there at Desiree's too long.
Yeah, he's like, you guys are boring compared to you.
Anyway, Little Dog, thank you for coming on our show today.
Most certainly, sir.
I really appreciate it.
You bet.
And you're welcome to come back anytime.
Hell yeah.
Anytime you guys got any art to I guess promote from down there, come on
Yep.
our show.
Let us know.
Send your artists down here.
Okay.
We'd love to have them. Use us as a resource.
Okay. Most
Because
certainly.
This is a music-friendly city, and that's a friendly music place. The Dead Horse, downtown San Angelo.
All right, we're gonna throw it back to James to end it out. How about it? You ready, James?
All right. Well, if you liked what you heard today on live, you can join us every weekday, 4 o'clock. About 4 o'clock, we always run the show. If you have anything to do this weekend, go down Dead Horse. Tomorrow, we got Bob Bluthart coming in from Fort Concho. So, thanks for coming by. Thanks for stopping and watching.